Hello and welcome to Entertainment Extra with yours truly, Joe Crawford on RemicTV.com. And we have a great guest this show. We have Steve the Dean Williams who will be joining us. And I think it's very interesting because if you've watched the past shows that we've done here on Entertainment Extra, you know that we had a cyber dating expert and we had a couple other experts about love, and they were all females. Well, now Steve the Dean Williams is going to give us the male aspect of it all. And to tell you the truth, it kind of contradicts everything that we learned from the females. So this will be a very interesting show. Last night was the Oscars, and according to the LA Times, 54% of Motion Picture Academy members are over the age of 60, which means most of the old folks who vote for the Oscars were asleep before the Oscars even ended. Is it just me, or is there too many award shows? There were so many this past couple months. There should be an award for anybody who can remember who won an award at last year's award show, because I never even remember that. And security was tight over at the Oscars last night with 200 cops on duty. They called in an extra 50 cops when somebody reported seeing Lindsay Lohan in the area. And I think there has to be a new category for the Oscars. It should be the most nauseating sobbing by an actress during her Oscar acceptance speech. Unbelievable. It was great. Billy Crystal did a great job, and I got to watch the after show with Jimmy Kimmel and have Oprah Winfrey on. Oh my gosh, the stuff that Oprah Winfrey did for Jimmy, it was just unbelievable. So, you want to win some money? Because we can make it unbelievable. You can win $500. Even better yet, you can maybe even win $10,000. And all you have to do is refer your friends to RemicTV.com. The more friends you invite, the better chance you have to win $500 every month, which this month is coming to a close, so maybe you can get that extra $500. And when the contest ends, the last month we'll let you know, and you can win $10,000. A lot of money, and hopefully you'll be happy with that. But all you gotta do is, like I said, invite your friends to RemicTV.com. I want to thank all of you for responding through my website, JoeCrawfordLive.com, and going to the email section or the Facebook section. You can like the Joe Crawford Talk Show or following me on Twitter, Joe Crawford Live. So invite your friends to RemicTV.com and you could win maybe $500 or even up to $10,000. That last month could be your $10,000 winning month, whenever that month will be. But this month is almost over though, so get inviting your friends now for a chance to win $500. Now, our fact of the day, I'm not going to reveal anything that's going to be breaking the barrier news, so then it's like, oh no, it's leaked out or anything like that. But this has been displayed all over, so there hasn't even been drives about it, so everyone knows about this. But silly string is used in the US and British armies. In their Iraq missions, troops from these countries developed a way to search for traps. They spray open doorways and halls with silly string to detect and maneuver around trap wires, preventing explosion. Now, how do they do this? Silly string is sticky enough to latch itself onto the wires without weighing too much to setting off the traps. And at the peak of the war in Iraq, people held silly string drives to send the canned goop to the troops. So see, now those pranks of silly string ideas is a good prank after all. We have Steve the Dean Williams joining us here on Entertainment Extra with Joe Crawford. It's going to be an interesting interview. Trust me, he's a great guy. I've had him on my radio show, and now we have him here on my TV show, Entertainment Extra with Joe Crawford on RemicTV.com. Stick around, because he'll be here next. Welcome back to Entertainment Extra with yours truly, Joe Crawford, here on RemicTV.com. And a personal friend of mine. I'm glad I call him a friend. I've met him on my radio show a couple of years ago, and now I have him here on our TV show on Remix TV. Steve the Dean Williams. How you doing, sir?
Hi, how are you? Thank you for having me on the show.
Oh, no problem. Thank you for coming. You are a relationship expert.
Yes.
And first of all, how does one become a relationship expert?
In order to become a relationship expert, you have to have a lot of relationships. I've been having relationships. Well, I guess kissing a girl in the 2nd grade is sort of a relationship.
You weren't afraid of cooties back then?
No, I guess I was the cootie. I don't know.
Well, you have multiple websites here, and you actually teach like schoolofdating.com is one of them. The alphasyndicate.com is another. ladieswakeup.com, roadmaptoself.com is another one. First of all, let's talk about the alphasyndicate.com. What are you talking about when you're saying the alpha, like the male, the alpha male? What's that all about?
Well, the Alpha Syndicate is, well, they kind of all roads lead to one place, but the Alpha Syndicate is really about understanding what it means to be a man. Unfortunately, with today's society, men are seen as buffoons and idiots. You know, we don't have any male role models to show our young men what real men are supposed to be like. So
right.
What the Alpha Syndicate does is it just keeps men aware that, you know what, you are a man, but you need to learn how to behave like a man.
Okay, so then what are some traits of actually being a man then?
Okay, being a man, well, we have like 3 levels. You have what we call humans that have high tolerance. Then we have alphas that have low tolerance. And then we have men that have no tolerance. And what we try to teach guys, not preach to guys, but teach them, is that you have to love yourself. You have to love yourself beyond everybody. Like I always tell people, I love myself so much, I put a restraining order out on myself because I follow me around, I stalk me, you know, I love me. So
you are your own #1 fan.
I am my own #1 fan. Yes, I have even a doll of me that I just hold and cherish. You know what I mean? The whole 9. And that's what we're trying to show guys is that, you know, we want them to love themselves, but also learn how to love women. Men don't understand how to love women correctly also, and that's another problem. So it's just a number of things, man.
Okay, so then that can all be found on the alphasyndicate.com. Now, you'd also talk about schoolofdating.com, and you do teach these classes. If someone was interested in maybe learning about these classes, how can one do so?
Okay, well, the thing is, School of Dating goes right to the Alpha Syndicate. We're kind of putting every consolidate now. Instead of
so it's just all the alphasyndicate.com.
Yeah, well, we'll say School of Dating because it's more catchy. School of Dating, we'll send them there. But the thing we have a lot of free boot camps. We have hours and hours of free boot camps. We just put out a 3-hour sex boot camp for the guys, absolutely free, so they can learn our philosophies. Because as men, we speak a different language, and our language is kind of like hieroglyphics to what we call the normal human guy. Because we have standards, laws, rules, codes, and we live by those things. We're not a-holes. We're just loving guys that know what we want, and we don't play games, we don't deceive, we don't lie and cheat like that. We're just really honest individuals.
So then, with being with those traits then, and we're honest individuals then, how can we then get that date that we want or get that woman that we want in our life?
Well, see, that's the beautiful thing about it. You get the date by being honest. See, what happens a lot of times, you get 2 individuals that lie to each other. They put their best foot forward, or they wear this mask, and they become somebody that they're not. Then eventually that mask comes off. There's problems, arguments. You lied to me. This isn't who you were. What we teach our guys is total honesty. Look, if I'm seeing other women, yes, I'm seeing other women, but I'd rather be honest with you than lie to you. There's no reason to lie to a woman, and there's no reason for a woman to lie to a man, vice versa.
Right.
But we teach our guys, Just be honest about what you want. If you want to sleep with her, let her know. I mean, don't try to backdoor. Don't try to be her friend and try to, hope the sun, the moon, and the stars line up and, she sees you. Oh, you're that sweet guy. I've always, that's not going to happen.
Right.
You have to learn how to be honest with the woman. And sometimes your honesty will not get the woman. I mean, we tell the guys that all the time. You're not going to get every woman. But you know what? At least at the end of the day, you know that, I was honest. I was myself. I was me. I was nobody else. And that's the thing we're trying to show guys to be.
Steve the Dean Williams is who we're speaking with, schoolofdating.com, relationship expert here on Entertainment Extra with Joe Crawford on Remake TV. And more or less how you just summed it all up, I'm going to sum it up in a few words. Men need to grow some balls, to be honest, then. Yeah,
well, I didn't know if I could say that word. Yes. Yes. They need to get their balls out of the purse and their spine out of the backyard and reattach it and become men. But, I mean, you can't become a man when you have dad sleeping on the couch or dad getting yelled at or dad not being able to leave the household. A lot of these young men are, what they see on TV or what they see at the household, and they don't see a father that, we don't promote abuse. We don't hit women or anything like that.
Right.
We're trying to show guys that, unfortunately, dad may showed you how to tie a tie, maybe do some mechanic work on the car, but when it comes to being a man, he didn't show you that, so you're kind of lost. I mean, we have a lot of lost young men out there that, have no idea what manhood is about.
So then with that, you teach that at schoolofdating.com. And talking a little bit about honesty, I just want to go back a few seconds here about, because a lot of people do tend to lie if they end up doing like an online dating profile then. And I see it, you're shaking your head like, oh my God, don't even go there. Why not? Why not, Dean?
Okay, I am not trying to reinvent the wheel. Here's the problem with online dating. The problem is a lot of individuals think that they can hide behind their words and sentences when you can't. Who you are is going to come out regardless if you think you're typing some words. And that's the problem. If you don't have these kind of characteristics that turn women on, it's these type of things that women want and need in men, not want, but need in men, certain characteristics. And if you're typing to somebody, it's going to come out. The way you talk and the way you think is the same way you type. So a lot of individuals think that, okay, I'm nervous around women. I don't know how to, talk to women. I'm terrible in bed with women, but I can go in this online world and be somebody totally different and try to lie to and deceive the woman. Women are not dumb. They may be a little naive. They're not dumb, and they can read through all the BS.
Right. And they have a good memory, too.
Yes. Oh, absolutely. Oh, yeah. You remember that time back in 1986 at 5 o'clock p.m. when, all that. They know all that stuff. And that's why we tell guys, we always tell guys to stay off the internet.
Right.
Stay off the internet and talk to the women. Don't fall in love with words. Meet the person. So.
And what has been your success rate with doing this School of Dating?
Well, the great thing about we have a great success rate, but the thing that I don't look at it as success rates because we always place the responsibility on the individual. I'm not trying to make you a me. I want you to be a better you. So what our philosophy is that we'll put all the weapons on the table. Yep. You grab what you need and incorporate it in yourself. That right there is going to bring the change. Don't try to do what we do. Add on to you and grow from within.
Steve the Dean Williams, who we're speaking with here on Entertainment Extra with Joe Crawford on schoolofdating.com. And Steve, you, along with doing these schoolings of dating and becoming the alpha male, you also host a radio show as well, right? People can hear you?
Oh, absolutely. We have a radio show every Tuesday night it's not Chicken Soup for the Soul because we have a lot of... We've got some pipe-hitting guys that are very honest. We're about brutal honesty. I'd rather be honest with you than lie to you, and we're tough on the guys, but it's tough love. Yes.
Right. Now, when we talked on my radio show, we ended up talking about, and we can go into it a little bit here. Viewer discretion is advised. I do want to make a mention of that. You gave me a package of CD or DVDs. One of them, which caught my mind. Everyone knows Foreplay, but you up the game to 5-play.
Oh yeah.
And what I mean, describe to our viewers in so much detail, anyways, what 5-play is.
Okay. The thing is that a lot of individuals are stuck in what we call Miss Crabtree's 5th grade class when it comes to birds and bees at an adult age. You know, this is a penis, this is a vagina, or they watch porn, or they look at magazines, and they try to lump all that together and think they're doing something in the bedroom.
Yeah.
Well, what I was taught was from my teacher, who was a female at 14. She taught me what I call the vultures and hornets. Now, what 5-play is consistent of, it's mental love making, physical love making, and an aftermath. So it's what we call a system. The system is broken up into its parts, and if all the parts work correctly, the system itself is going to work correctly, so to speak. So we teach the mental aspects of love making. We teach what I say is 5-play, which is really a lot of the power is in your hands and your tongue type thing. And then we teach sex also. So, but 5-play is I mean, you've seen the videos, right?
Yes, I have.
As you can see, it's a lot of hand technique, a lot of tongue, but you know, it's connected to being able to talk dirty also. You can't, it's one thing to touch a woman, but you got to be able to talk to her and tell her how she feels and how you feel and how she smells. And it's just so many things that go into it, where we call it unicorn sex. You know, it's like, you know, if you saw a unicorn, you want to capture it and tell somebody about it. I mean, one or the other. Or With 5-play, that's what we offer guys. Women are not used to that kind of stuff, and when you do that kind of stuff to them that you see on those DVDs, they were like, you know, why did you do that to me? Oh my God, I never had a man do that to me before. And this works with the clothes on and clothes off, as you saw in the video. So it's really different.
So that is one of the ways, and I guess what will lead into my next question then, of how to keep the relationship well lit then, correct?
Oh, absolutely, absolutely. But it also gives you what we call the highest confidence in the world. See, most people think confidence is the best confidence in the world. No. Sexual confidence is the best confidence in the world. It's saying that if I get my hands on you, it's over. It's kind of like we look at James Bond. I like using James Bond in this analogy. Yeah. You see James Bond, he's a very sexual individual. You can tell he knows what he's doing, and you can see by the way he talks to women, he gets his point across without making them feel dirty or slutty or anything like that. Right. It's the same thing with sexual confidence. It's going up to a woman and telling her, "Hi, you know, I think you're absolutely gorgeous. You're very sexual. You're very sexy," and you know, without feeling ashamed about it. I mean, a lot of young men don't understand sexuality. You know, a lot of, like I say, I write erotic poetry. You know, I just opened up an erotic poetry website where I'm trying to teach guys how to write erotic poetry, because you have to learn how to be sensual. You have to learn how to express yourself to a woman without, you know, a lot of guys say, "Oh no, that's goofy, that's dumb. I would never do anything like that." I always say there are two. Well, I won't say that word. There are two types of vaginas. Yeah. We've talked about vaginas before on the show, so it's okay. We can talk about it. Well, I'm just saying there's two of them. I'm just saying there's one between her legs and there's one up in her head. Yeah. And the one between her legs is not the one I'm concerned about. That's the one where we call the humans. They're concerned about that. Yeah. I'm not. I want the one up here, because the one up here controls everything. It's the fortress, the foundation. So I teach guys how to access that information and make her open her mind up, which it makes the whole sex experience great. Now, it sounds too good to be true, but are most women or all women easy responsive then to this type of nature from the guys then? Absolutely, because it's outside of the box. It is something that they're not used to. They're used to what we call the boring Bob or the boring Charlie Bob. You know, the who, what, where, why, when guy that asks a million questions, boring dates, just, you know, the same boring routine. They meet a guy like me, I'm making you feel great, I'm making you feel sexy. I'm asking you questions, we're having great conversations, we're laughing, I'm looking at you, I'm touching you, I'm smiling at you. I'm arousing you, and it really makes the whole experience that much more, because of what I teach my guys is you can make a woman orgasm through text messages and just phone conversations. And if you can do it with the phone conversations and text messages, what happens when I get my hands on you? And that's when she's like, oh my God, if it's this good now, how good is it going to be when I get the guy? So that there just alone separates us from the pack.
And if you're all watching this and saying, where can I sign up to learn that? You can do so going to schoolofdating.com. Steve the Dean Williams teaches it all on his website. Now, you say in your profile that some people should be married and some people shouldn't be married. What's the difference?
Well, see, the thing about marriage is, oh boy, this is a good home. Okay, when I'm saying some people should be married is, if you are not a man at the end of the day, and you're not Captain Kirk, we always like to use, or a lion or whatever have you. Yeah. If you don't lay laws, rules, and codes down with your woman, you're going to have problems, and that's why I say you shouldn't be married, because every step, and again, I'm thinking more of a system. Every little system has to be a talking point that you have to have a powwow with your woman. When you're dating, she can have friends, she can have the Facebooks and MySpaces, because you're not serious. Once you start to have a relationship, that's when you need to talk to your woman and say, look, okay, I'm going to cut off my women friends. If I have a business, I'll have Facebook for my business. No more male friends, no more. You've got to have a conversation. And what happens is a lot of individuals don't have those conversations. They are stuck with what we call problems. My wife is mad at me, or I'm in trouble, or she's angry at me. Those are not man problems. Men don't believe in problems. We only believe in solutions. Right. Like I tell everyone, a problem to me is a meteor coming towards Earth, or the world being infested by zombies. Right. Those are problems. But a woman getting mad at you or trying to treat you like you're a child or something, that's a solution. That's you got to go. And a lot of men are, they don't want to be alone, and that's a problem. They don't know how to be alone, so they will attach themselves to anybody just for the sake of being with somebody, regardless of how that person treats them. And that's the problem with marriages today and relationships today. Men are just walking carpets, and women just walk all over them.
Now, can any man, in other words, I don't want to say change them, but because, I'll use me for an example. I'm definitely not the alpha male. I'm more the sensitive type and everything. I'd be the one that'd probably be more hard to teach. Could it be possible that I could change to become that alpha male and learn how to set the laws and how to make her orgasmic with a text and that, or is it just like a lost hope for me, or is it just a longer process?
Well, I won't even say longer process. It works for every man because it doesn't have a race or a color. It's a thought process that you have, that you instill in yourself. We've had two guys really, and I like the name. We had one guy that was 47. He was a man. He was, and he was learning. He was dating 50-year-old women. He was like 46 years old at the time. Right. After from us, he was dating 18, 19, 20, 21, all the way down to 40. Jeez. We have another guy, and he became a gigolo. But I'm sorry, ladies, ain't happy. But then there was another guy who was just like, he was like foxtrot male. He's like, hey, Dean, how you doing? I don't understand. He was the worst. He was why should I do this? I don't know anything about
Steve Urkel.
Yeah, he's like an Urkel, plus whatever. But once he listened and learned, it's about learning and taking the philosophies and incorporating them into your life. That's where the change is going to come. So every man can make that change. It's just you get. It's like in life, and that's what we teach guys. You get what you put out in it. If you try to cut corners or you cheat life, you're not going to get anywhere. It's about hard work and discipline. If you put the hard work and discipline, you can do it.
Steve the Dean Williams, schoolofdating.com, speaking with us here on Entertainment Extra. And Steve, your unfavorite holiday just passed, Valentine's Day. And he rolls his eyes like, oh, kill me now. Why is it a holiday that Steve the Dean Williams does not promote?
Because it's part of what we call sucker me season. Sucker me season starts at the end of Thanksgiving and goes all the way through tax time. It is a time where men are bending over backwards to do things for women. And it's one of these are the most selfish holidays of the year. Let me ask you this question. When's the last time in Canada where you're at that you saw a Valentine's Day commercial for men? Something to get him. Have you ever seen one of those?
Honestly, no. It's always about her.
Exactly, because what the media knows and what we know is that women are the #1 consumers, but they also know that men are weak and they would do anything to put themselves inside of something no bigger than a quarter.
Right.
So they know that all they got to do is like Axe spray. You know, you spray this spray and the women gonna rip your clothes off. Really? Right. Okay. But that's the thing about it. These men don't get sex from women because they don't know how to make love to a woman, and they feel like this is the time. If I buy her the gifts, if I bend over backwards, I may get it. And half the times they don't even get it then. So that's what I'm saying. Valentine's Day, when you become a man, guys, you can go outside your door and grab a dandelion and hand it to her, and she will cherish that more than any jewelry. I mean, you know. Yeah. Think about all your ex-girlfriends. I mean, you know, think about an old ex-girlfriend that you spent all that money and you wasted all that money on her. Then a year later, y'all not even together. It's a wasted investment.
I definitely could take that money back and put it to savings. That's for sure.
Yeah, see that right here, guys? They're quarters. Nothing, no bigger than the size of the quarter, man.
There you go. I think our Canadian quarter is just a little bit bigger than that, though, Steve. But size doesn't matter. It's the notion that...
Yeah, it's all in the hands of the tongue, guys. Size doesn't matter.
Now, when we talked before, we talked on my radio show, I want to just talk a little bit about starting out a date when you're meeting the woman or whatever, right? So you meet the woman you want to go out with, or you just want to, if you want to be a gigolo, just get right down to it or whatever. But you say no to dinner dates. And what's a good thing to go do then, like on a date then? How do you get the woman, but now where do you go or what do you do?
Well, here comes another problem. A lot of men don't know how to talk. So because they don't know how to talk, they go with the who, what, when, why, boring Bob questions. You know, they go on a date. They go to dinner. So, you know, they meet her, they have to talk. You go to the restaurant, have to wait, you have to talk. You sit down, you have to talk. The waiter comes and offers you something to drink, you have to talk. He comes back, you have to talk in between that. You order your meal, you have to talk. You have to talk through the meal. You have to talk after the meal. If you get, I mean, it's a lot of talking, and a lot of men don't have that in them. So what I teach guys is to do a coffee date because it saves you money, #1, but it's something that you can do a quick in and out type of conversation where you're not forced in this box where you have to come up with and pull and kind of grab all these conversations and make yourself look good. No, you make yourself see. It even goes beyond that point right there, man. Because they're getting a woman's phone number, and that's another thing. You don't get a woman's phone number. That's where they go wrong in the beginning. Getting a woman's phone number. You get a woman's phone number, you're running behind her from the jump. So from that point, you got to jump hoops to set up the date. You have to jump hoops to go where she wants to go. Then you got to jump hoops to try to impress her, and it's a systematic thing of defeats where a guy like me is gonna call her and say, you know what, I want steak and potatoes. She's gonna order the steak and potatoes. She's gonna take 2 bites of it. She's gonna say her mother's sick. You're gonna drop her off. She's gonna call me up. She's gonna cook it for me, and I'm gonna do a lot of 5-play on her. I mean, that's how it works.
Beautiful. And again, you want to know all about Steve the Dean Williams and about the course that we're talking about for the men to get out there and find that woman. Schoolofdating.com. Let's just look on the opposite end for a second. Let's look at the woman aspect. The men are doing all this and trying to please the woman and attract the woman, but how can the woman find the right man for her?
Okay, now this is tricky because women don't listen, but I'm going to try this. I'm going to try to explain this. And this is very simple. Women need to stop being selfish and learn men. We men are very easy to understand, and these are the things I would say a woman needs to do. #1, she needs to get a video game console start getting video games. I say read the newspaper, find a sports team, find things that men like. And unfortunately, men are pigs, I guess, in a woman's eyes. We like beer, women, sports, and more women. So, and video games too, and movies and stuff. So I always tell ladies, you know, buy a drink for a guy, something outside the box, or take him out to dinner, something outside the box. Or when you're going on a date, go and see a man movie. For every chick flick, should be like 2 or 3 man movies. You know, right there is someone that is outside the box. Because then that guy is like, oh my God, I got to tell my boys about this. I met this woman, and you won't believe it. When I first met her, she offered me a drink. I was like, whoa, think about it. If you were at a bar or a club and you saw a beautiful woman and she smiled and introduced herself and said, you know what, hey, let me buy you a drink. What would you think?
I would be, okay, is this candid camera? Because I'd be shocked. Right,
you're waiting for Ashton Kutcher to come out the back and say you're pranked or something. You know what I mean? But that's what I'm trying to say. Ladies, you have to separate yourself from the other women. And I'm saying you don't have to keep buying things. It should be a balance, but it shouldn't be a selfish thing where he's buying you and giving you and giving you. It has to be even to it. So, and it's hard for women to do that, because as soon as I say buy a man a drink or take a man out, oh, I'm not doing that. He's cheap if he doesn't buy me drinks. He's cheap if he does this, and you know he has all these toys and video games. But that's what makes him who he is. And the problem is when a man meets a woman and she starts to change him, as soon as a woman changes one thing about you, you're done. Your relationship is over. So for the women, you have to learn the language of men. But you also have to learn the language of a lady also. And this is, I'm not saying a lot of you women, you're not a lady. And a lady is someone, and I always go back to Leave It to Beaver days. A lady, I'm not saying you have to hot cook and clean on the stove and you don't have any rights and all. What I'm saying is that you have to have some ethics. You can't have all these male friends. You can't dress, with outfits of, hookers, so to speak. I won't say the term, but, you've got to have some type of respect to yourself where, you know what, I'm not a casual dater. I have hobbies. I like to do things. I like to take care of my man. I want my man to take care of me. I want us to have an even thing. And it's hard. Me saying that to a woman is like speaking another language. They're like, there's no way I can do that. I can't be that.
Right.
It's part.
Steve, the Dean Williams, schoolofdating.com. Check him out. Steve, I want to thank you very much for coming on the show. And you are more than welcome to come on here anytime.
Thanks, man. It was a great time, man. I just want to tell the guys, man, just love yourselves, man. And that's one thing we will teach you. We will teach you everything you need and then some to be that guy. And thank you so much for having me on the show, man. I appreciate it.
Oh, anytime. And we'll have to learn some more tips, of course. And you can do so, schoolofdating.com. And maybe later on down the year we'll have you on and we'll learn some techniques as well.
Now, have you been using the 5-play? Have you been practicing that?
You know what? I've actually been single for like a long time since we've met. And actually did it. So I just got a girlfriend about a month and a half. Been dating her, and I've only seen her about maybe 7 or 8 times because we're so busy. But I am going to try the technique, that's for sure.
Oh yeah, lots of practice now. You do those techniques, it's going to be over.
I definitely will. All right, Steve the Dean Williams. Check him out again, schoolofdating.com. Stick around because we have your word of the day on Entertainment Extra with Joe Crawford on RemixTV.com. I want to thank Steve the Dean Williams for being with us here on Entertainment Extra with Joe Crawford. Hopefully, men, if you've been watching this, you now have some ideas of how to get that date or that woman that you want. Make sure you check out his website, schoolofdating.com. And again, thank you to Steve the Dean Williams. I really enjoy him. And you know what? Even though he's way down in Texas, I'm all the way up here in Canada. I've gotten a friendship with him, and maybe one day I'll get to meet Steve in person. Our word of the day here on Entertainment Extra is Hirshine. Hirshine. H-I-R-C-I-N-E. Hirshine. And even though we talked a little bit about whoopee and all that stuff, it means pertaining to or resembling a goat. Hopefully you're not into the animals, though. Hershard is your word of the day. I'm Joe Crawford for Entertainment Extra on RemixTV.com. Check out all our videos here. And don't forget to refer your friends to win some cash. Only on RemixTV.com.